Hello, everyone. Welcome to Anointed Lady TV, the home of news and politics. If it is your first time in this channel, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you like what we do on this channel, hit on the subscribe button. Also put on the notification bell so you'll be notified by YouTube anytime we drop a new video. And if you are returning subscribers, thank you very much for always coming back to watch our videos. On this platform, we drop videos every day and we react to every video that come our way. And on this very video, I will be watching with you. And after watching, let's go to the comment section and drop our opinion constructively. Like our videos and also share our videos if possible. See you next time in my next video.
Thank you very much, my dear brother, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, and all your senior leadership of the Dangote Group. It's a delight for me to be here with my wife, Grace, and senior leadership members of the African Development Bank to visit this refinery and petrochemical complex that is here. First and foremost let me focus on the person that I came here to see, which is Alhaji Aliko Dangote. He is quite an inspirational and visionary business leader. And for anybody to have done what I have seen here, I think that person deserves world-class kudos for that. And so let me tell you, what did I see? I see a company that I will probably call Africa Growth Accelerator Company. So if you want to call his company, just call it AGAC, Africa's Growth Acceleration Company. And why do I say that? You see an acceleration of how to reduce imports. You see an acceleration of how to have an outbound on export. You see an acceleration on value chain development here, on how to make them competitive regionally and also globally. And you also see a sense of pride in an African investing in Africa. I think one of the things I admire the most about you, Alhaji Dangote, is that you actually believe in Nigeria and you invest your money in Nigeria. You believe in Africa and you invest your money in Africa. Nobody could invest the kind of billions of dollars that is here unless they actually not only have the vision, but also the commitment and the passion for their country. I think you should join me in clapping for him for that. And so, Alhaji Dangote, we are extremely proud of you and, of course, of your commitment to the continent. As I came here to this petrochemical complex and the fertilizer complex and all the things that we saw, in my mind I was thinking, what is all this thing about? It's all about how we industrialize. You know, Africa today has probably about $38 trillion worth of natural resources, from oil to gas to minerals to metals, right? Agriculture, blue economy, everything else. But we keep exporting raw materials. And the wealth of nations, according to me, is very clear that those countries that export raw materials will become poor. And the countries that export value-added products eventually become rich because they dominate the top of the value chain. And what you see here is a man with a vision, with a passion and commitment, saying it is time for Africa to move up the value chains and dominate those value chains and be competitive regionally and be competitive globally. So I pick it up a little bit about history. Look at cement. Today, Nigeria used to be a large importer of cement. Today, Nigeria is the largest exporter of cement, thanks to investment by the Dangote Group. I think right now you must be about what, 49 million plus, tons, metric tons of cement. And the last I read, I saw that you were trying to make investments in also new 11 countries, or 11 plants or so in 10 countries, something like that, with probably another investment of $4.5 billion or more. So that shows that this is somebody who has the vision, the drive, the commitment to Africa's development via industrialization. And for us at the African Development Bank, one of our key work is to industrialize Africa. When you industrialize, you create jobs. When you industrialize, you do import substitution. When you industrialize, you are able to capture market shares all around the world. So as we came here today, the first thing that I saw was the Petrochemical refinery. I'm blown away completely. You know, Femi Atodala, your friend, has actually tried so much to get me to come, always you and him, when are we going to be able to do this? And finally, we got a time to come today. I can't believe what I saw. Well, you got a company here that is doing 650,000 barrels per day of crude oil refined into different kind of products. They are doing it into 33 million metric tons of products that goes from aviation fuel, goes into gasoline, that goes into diesel, that goes into polypropylene production for plastics and all of that. That tells you the value added. And so without having this, what has been the challenge for Nigeria is Nigeria imports a lot of petroleum products. You know, we sell crude and we import refined products. It means the price is high. It means it's unstable. It's highly volatile. It also means that you lose a lot of foreign exchange. What this alone will do is to reverse that. Nigeria becomes self-sufficient in the production of all these things and then becomes a globally competitive player in this, in Africa and also in the world. It is quite remarkable. When you look at how much we actually import, Nigeria imports about 54 million, a billion worth of petroleum products, oils, and all kinds of things, right? And then we are importing about 57 billion, rather, you know, and we're exporting only about 50.4. So you got to balance that up about $7 billion. And talking to them here, they showed us that they can have a market, domestic market of $11 billion. And that is incredible market. And that will save Nigeria about $9 billion a year from importing petroleum products and all of that. So this is huge for Nigeria. I want to really commend you, Alhaji Dangote, for that vision, for what you've actually done here. Everywhere I went here, from whether it was the infrastructure for power, they have 570 megawatts of power generation here. They're looking at the amount of kilometers of pipelines that they have, over 6,600 kilometers of pipelines. I was asking them about the steel. They've done 65,000 kilometers worth of steel. I mean, somebody has to come here and see it. It's a marvel. I've never seen anything like that in any part of the world. It's a world-class industrial complex that will make Nigeria and Africa proud in the global market. So congratulations to you, Alhaji Dangote, and your team. And also congratulations, I say, to Nigeria as well. But we also saw the fertilizer complex that they have here. Obviously, you know, I'm very passionate about agriculture. And what I saw is a company that is going to be producing 3 million metric tons of urea. Now, 3 million metric tons of urea would make Nigeria totally self-sufficient. Nigeria will become big next exporter of fertilizers. It will drive productivity growth in Nigeria because the prices will come down. The quality will also improve. We also saw that it's not just producing urea. They actually have a great system of soil testing. So they go across the country, helping the farmers to test their soils to say, what are the limiting nutrients that you have in your soil, which is a great business that's also connecting to the farmers themselves. And so this is really, impressive because I understand it's the second largest urea manufacturing plant in the world. Again, world. So it's amazing that we're in Africa, I'm in Nigeria, and everything about this place is world-class. World-class businessmen, world-class investment, world-class infrastructure. What you have here really Alhaji Dangote is, like if you were going to fight a war, you have a frigate, right? You have a that carries a lot of what is it? Jets, right? To launch it. Okay, so this is actually an industrial frigate in which Nigeria and Africa can launch from here into global markets, whether it is in the petrochemical industry, whether it's in the fertilizer industry, whether it's in the aviation fuel supply industry, whether it is in the area of even gasoline or whatever. So this is like an industrial frigate for Africa, for industrialization. And this is very important in the context of the African continental free trade area. So I can see Nigeria being a dominant player in this through these investments that you have seen here with the Dangote group. And lastly, I just want to say that this investment that I've seen here has touched me in many ways because it tells me that Africa and Africans can actually do world-class stuff. The petrochemical plant that we saw here was actually the engineering designs, the procurement, the construction, everything end to end was actually done by folks of Dangote Industries themselves. It's amazing. So it means that we have world-class technical skills to be able to really do big stuff. And I think that's something also to celebrate about this. It's creating a lot of jobs here. They have roughly 38,000, 37,000, 38,000 workers here. 11,000 of those are outside from Nigeria. The balance of 27,000 are Nigerians. I talked to young people. I met a lady there called Jessica in one of the areas where they were showing me the computers of how they monitor things. And I felt so proud as a Nigerian. These are young engineers that are actually doing stuff because they are doing world-class stuff. And I was challenging Aliko Dangote to say, how do we turn this into a global thing for Nigeria? From Nigeria to the rest of the world. World-class engineering stuff, manufacturing, industrial manufacturing for the rest of the world. So all that just to say that I feel enormously proud today, even prouder as a Nigerian, prouder as an African. And as African Development Bank, we are delighted because we also invested in a corporate loan to the Dangote Group, I think way back about $300 million into it. We also work with IFC, the International Finance Corporation, who also put in for $150 million. And it's not even the money that's the size that matters. Is that we have faith in Aliko Dangote. We have confidence in his business model. And we have confidence that this will position Africa globally in the world. Every nation needs an Aliko Dangote. China had theirs. South Korea had theirs. Japan had theirs. India had theirs. And this is Africa's. And we as African Development Bank, therefore, we've made a decision that we will support companies like this that we call African champions. My vice president, Afro champions. African champions. That will be the businesses that will allow us to industrialize and be competitive globally. Most times that people think of industrialization, they think small and medium-sized enterprises. We are supporting small and medium-sized enterprises, and we will. But it's like a pulley system. You need a pulley to take something from the ground and move it up. So when the big guys grow, they connect to small and medium-sized businesses, and that's how you enter the global market and you become more competitive. So I want to thank you very much, Alhaji Dangote. Commend the Nigerian government for facilitating, providing the fiscal environment for you to be able to do this. One of the things that he told me was the road, I think, that you are constructing with tax credits, deferred tax credits that allows you to do some of these roads. So I want to say that the private sector needs to continue to be supported, given the environment for them to invest. And I have no doubt that it will be soon Nigeria taking on the rest of the world and Africa also taking on the rest of the world. We are proud of you, Aliko Dangote. You can clap for him again. It's clear as part of the government strategy to support the private sector. I was very pleased to have been invited by His Excellency the President Muhammad Buhari, to address the ministerial retreat, and there was quite a lot of discussion there about how to support the private sector even more. So I think both in terms of fiscal policies to make it better for them, that's very, very important, and the government is doing that. It can do more. The other one, which I think is important sometimes, is a lot of time is infrastructure. Because without infrastructure, we really can't do much. For example, if you look at the infrastructure that he has had to build here, it's amazing, right? The roads, the water. They have water here of about almost 440 million liters of treated water that is coming out of here. You have energy. You have a lot of things that they are doing for themselves. So I think that increases the cost of doing business. So continued investment in infrastructure will lower the cost of doing business. I also think that it's one other area is just consistency and stability of policies. Governments come and governments go. Businesses always continue. So, but when investors put in so much money, they have to be assured that there's going to be consistency of policies, and that's very, very important for us to do. And I think, we also have to promote our own successes. When I was a kid growing up, my mom used to tell me that if you go to the market and everybody's selling similar types of goods, and if you're not shouting loud enough, nobody will buy yours because everybody is selling the same thing. I think we should celebrate our own business successes. I think we should protect them. I think we should support them. I think we should provide them access to capital to be able to grow even further. China does exactly that. South Korea does exactly that. Japan does exactly that. The United States does exactly that. So let's just make sure that we are celebrating success and building a business and investment environment that will support all kinds of businesses to grow, not just even like Dangote alone. Small and medium-sized enterprises to grow and thrive more in Nigeria, even beyond the sectors we are talking about, in agriculture, agribusiness, digital economy, creative industry, and all of this. All those require quite a lot of support. So at the end of the day, strong policy support from government to enable greater private sector investment is the way to go. Now, obviously, yes, I discussed with Alhaji Dangote a lot. First is the whole area around the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Because the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, it's a market of, you're talking $3.3 trillion in terms of the market. But the key, the combined value of GDP of many of these countries, but the key is being able to have access to those markets. And we were talking about what will it take for his business to be expanded into several of these countries. And they already have a business expansion plan. I was just mentioning to you what they were thinking in terms of doing already in cement, trying to do 11 plants in 10 countries. And by the way, I understand you also want to do Nepal or something. It's part of your expansion plan, right? So expansion into the rest of Africa, key. Secondly, is in terms of infrastructure that we can do to support businesses like his and all businesses. Infrastructure is like the water that makes all boats to float. It makes all the boats to rise, right? So whether it is infrastructure for roads, corridors, digital infrastructure, electricity, water, sanitation, these are critical infrastructure. But taking of roads, because I know how much kilometers of road he has had to build here, how you evacuate products into the rest of Africa is the key. We saw in his plant today, the fertilizer plant, they had about 81, there were trucks that were all trying to carry out urea. Urea to rest of Nigeria. And the issue is the road network needs to be built better, and a lot is being done already, but also into the rest of West Africa. So the African Development Bank, we worked with the ECOWAS Commission to do a feasibility study which has been completed for the Lagos-Abidjan highway. corridor, and that will open up the entire West Africa area to businesses out of Nigeria into to be able to participate at a lower cost in the rest of Africa as part of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. The bank is invested, I think, about $428 million on the road between Bamenda in Cameroon, actually linking Enugu to Bamenda in Cameroon, which again would make it easier for evacuation of products, right? And so these are the infrastructure investments that we can make to facilitate business here. And of course, in Lagos, the congestion at the port is also one of the things that we're discussing, that we're trying to see how we can support, bringing best practices to help Nigerian government to improve that as they want to. And the last thing that I want to say about we discussed is, if you go today and you look at those countries that are doing construction, so you have China, you have Turkey. Now, what makes them different is because if you look at Turkey, for example, they have first-class engineers, they have architects, they have construction workers, and all of this. And when they come to a country, they come full load, okay, and they do all the work. From here, when you have, how many engineers you say you have? You have so many of these engineers.
About 3,800.
Yeah, 3,800 engineers that have actually done this EPC work here, for this world-class stuff. You can imagine Nigeria taking that and supporting them to be able to supply their skills to help other countries to perhaps do similar constructions of world-class factories. So that's what others do.
Welders, fitters,
yeah.
We have 27,000.
Yeah. So I think there's a rich resource here, human capital, that we should build on. And so we were talking about it. The African Development Bank would like to discuss within the idea of perhaps having an, African industrial manufacturing core. You used to have, U.S. has the Peace Corps. People will go out and help. We want to industrialize. You don't have to start again when you have people who've done it, who have the skills, the experience, have shown it. So it will require putting something together to tap into these kind of things. And Nigeria can begin to help others, countries, to do that. So, MLA News Manufacturing Company, I hope you are satisfied with the product so far.
Meanwhile, the president of the Dangote Industries, Aliko Dangote, expresses gratitude at the support the project has enjoyed from the federal government as well as the African Development Bank.
No, mechanical completion is different. We have almost finished mechanically, but we started doing hydro testing. Almost we've done about 70%. So you can see that we caused a bit of delay on some equipment, but they just arrived. You must have seen the ship that just came in. Those are the last equipment which we will now tidy them up, and hopefully before end of third quarter we should be in the market.
So what level of production will it start?
About 540,000, and then after a few months, you don't start at full capacity in the beginning, because you start testing. But we'll get there very soon.
And like when do you expect production to start?
Maybe by end of the year or beginning of 2023. But the one we are even going to produce 540,000 is the largest in the world also. Single line.
Just to add something with my friend Aliko Dangote, because we've come way back when I was Minister of Agriculture. And, when I come and I see him doing fertilizers and doing agriculture, I feel so excited because I remember a day he came to my office, and he and I have been trying to encourage him to get into agriculture. And he was doing cement. And so I remember telling him, I said, Alaji, I think you may realize that cement and rice are complementary products. And he looked at me, he said, what do you mean? I said, well, you know, they use your cement to build a house and they're going to eat rice inside of it. And he said, well, that's not a bad idea. So he came back to my office one day and he said, well, you know, I decided to change my business model. And I said, what's your business model? He said, no, I don't want to be importer of rice. I want to be domestic producer of rice. So I went home and saw my wife and said, honey, today is my best day as minister. The richest man in Africa, black man in the world, actually, tells me that he wants to do this. So he comes back to my office after about 3 months or so, and he said, Minister, I said, yes. He said, I've changed my mind. I said, what did I do wrong? He said, no, because he had told me he was going to do it for $300 million. He said, no, I changed it from $300 million to $1 billion. That's a good way to change your mind. And I'm delighted I was talking to him today that his plans are still on to be able to do, I think, a million metric tons of rice. And I remember when you and I were at the World Economic Forum,
Yes.
we were together on the same panel. And he looked at me and he said, if anybody told me, this guy has convinced me about agriculture. He said, if anybody told me years ago that I would be in agriculture, producing food, he said, I would have said, I just woke up from a bad dream. He said, but if I had to do my business again, I will start from agriculture, not cement. So I'm glad he's doing that now. So clap for him again.
Well, you have the last word.
Yes.
Yes.
All these equipment. You have to respond.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. I think we've heard all what you've said, and we're really very delighted to have you here with your lovely wife and the rest of the team. This will really encourage us to do more. Like what I've said, people normally here concentrate on refinery, but we have other projects. Like even the polypropylene is almost 1 million tons that we have, which will give us over $1.6 billion of export. And I'm happy that you've given us more than the time that I had actually expected. I thought you were just going to come here and rush after about 3-4 hours, but you spent 9 good hours with us. So I want to really thank you, lovely wife, and the rest of the team for coming all the way to spend this time. This will actually encourage us to do more. Like what I've said, at the end of the day, after the maturity of all these businesses, we'll end up paying trillions of taxes, to the government. You've heard what our group managing director said earlier when we were having lunch, that people really don't understand that government collects about 55% of our revenue as taxes, different taxes. Value-added tax, corporate tax, education tax, withholding taxes when you are paying dividend. And we're not really complaining. We're happy that at least we're giving our own best. But also to really thank Mr. President, President Buhari, for having this creation of road tax credit. The road tax credit, yes, is only good for companies that pay a lot of taxes. I mean, for us, even corporate tax by, this year will be in about $250 billion in terms of, taxes. So that can help us to now build a lot of roads, not only for our use, for everybody's use. If you look at what we've done now in, on Isolo. So right now, on Isolo is 10 lanes, which starts from Apapa infrastructure up to the toll gate between Lagos and Ogun State. And then we are doing the Papulanto one, we are doing the Kaduna bypass, where trucks can easily go to the rest part of the north from Kaduna. We are doing the deep sea port, which is here. So far, I think the government have actually, given us almost about 400 billion naira worth of roads. I mean, the only company that took more than us is NMPC with 600, billion. And I think that can help to accelerate the infrastructure, which we're dying for. I mean, if you look at a company like ours, where we operate over, Africa-wide 12,000, trucks, but out of that 12,000, almost 10,000 in Nigeria. So we do need infrastructure, and the only way to create this infrastructure is not through budget, it's through this kind of means. So these are the areas where we will now look for, banks, because obviously we cannot. What we are doing, we're actually paying taxes in advance. So we don't want to dip our hands into our capital by, locking our capital in infrastructure. Obviously, as we go along, we're making money. We'll be building more, infrastructure. And I want to really thank also, President Buhari, Governor of Central Bank, Minister of Finance, yourselves, for encouraging us to do this kind of huge projects. Because without the support of the government, the central bank and the bankers, development banks like yours, there is no way we would have actually succeeded in building this massive, industrial, park. It's a major revolution. Once we finish, definitely, it will put Nigeria on the map. So I want to thank you for your support. And obviously, as Oliver Twist, when we think of other projects, we'll come back to you for a bigger support. So thank you very much. Good.
According to Aliko Dangote, the refinery is expected to commence production by the third quarter.